welcome to another episode of the Digitizing India Series presented by Cisco in partnership with CNBC TV18 and Moneycontrol. India has one of the largest higher education systems in the world with more than 37,000 institutions and 21.5 million students. Educational institutions are implementing state-of-the-art technologies across their campuses to offer better resources and an enhanced curriculum to their students, faculty and also their visitors. This week we're looking at campuses in India and how they're digitizing. On the episode, we meet Dilip Mohapat of IIM Bangalore, who tells us how they're providing Wi-Fi across their campus to boost the productivity of students and faculty. While at BITS Pilani, Rahul Banerjee talks about how they're using video conferencing to connect their 4 campuses. And finally, we meet S.V. Raghavan of the National Knowledge Network, who tells us how the NKN is connecting more than 1,500 educational institutions around the country to each other to pool in resources. Plus, Daisy Chittapalli of Cisco tells us how campuses can stay updated with new technologies while balancing the costs involved. Established in 1973, the Indian Institute of Management in Bengaluru is a leading higher education institute in the country. Considered one of the top business schools in India, it was the first Indian university to provide Wi-Fi across its complete 100-acre campus.
We started that particular thing in a theme of anywhere, anytime, any place, the Wi-Fi should be available. What happens to our academic discussions, administrative deliberation, assignments, all these things happens in this greenery itself. They don't want to discuss today in a closed environment of concrete. Because of the availability of this Wi-Fi, they have been very, very happy to discuss it outside the boundary, and they can freely discuss and they can freely actually come to a result with the friendly environment like Wi-Fi. Otherwise it would have been very difficult for them to be inside a room or be inside a classroom to think about those things. As of now, we have all the services, right from application, right from assignment, right from you can mention the classroom schedule, attendance, everything is online, including our grading, certificates, all things are online. So people are making use of it without sitting in a concrete building or sitting outside. So Wi-Fi has helped them that a lot, not only to academic but also administrative jobs.
A report titled India E-Learning Market Outlook to FY 2018, Increasing Technology Adoption to Drive Future Growth, estimates that the Indian e-learning market will grow at a CAGR of 17.4% between FY 2013 to FY 2018. How is IIM Bangalore gearing up to take a sizable portion of this pie?
It's almost, we have got around 20,000 response across 170 countries this time for 4 courses we have already published. We have a plan for another 6 this year, and it is on operation management, statistics and strategy management. The response, we are also, this has been a pleasant surprise for us also. How comes 170 countries and 20,000 people have gone through these 4 courses itself.
As more and more young Indians move on to the digital bandwagon, IIM Bangalore is gearing up to offer their courses via web conferencing while also aiming to go paperless.
IIM Bangalore, we are actually thinking about CRM to add to our ERP, existing ERP, then M services, mobiles-based services to our E-services, and then imparting education through web conferencing and to mass. That is also our feature. In mobile services, we are having E-services today. All the things are available on your iPad, on your tablet, in your laptop and everything. But we want to make it mobile friendly. So what is that we are seeing is a future should be mobile friendly, secured, paperless, green campus. We don't want people to be very much with the paper or a book or somewhere, and they have to be restricted to a concrete building. They have to come out and think openly. So that is our future.
With the Wi-Fi we get journals access, and by accessing those journals it helps a lot in our research.
Here most of our classroom stuff is on net, and professors mail at the last moment about quizzes and lectures and everything. So if you're not connected throughout, you'll miss out on a lot of things.
24 hours there's Wi-Fi, so even at odd hours in the midnight, if we want to read something in our hostel rooms, we can access it anytime.
It improves our flexibility and our mobility, like because we don't have to rush to a particular place or a computer center or say library to access internet.
In India, the proliferation of mobiles and the number of learning applications on mobiles is increasing by the day. So we think mobiles will become probably the second, or they will overtake laptops in terms of devices that enable learning. And while it's still early days, there is certainly a space in India for new devices. An example of that is wearable tech that aids in either simulation or game or activity-based learning. That's one part of it. This really leads into the Internet of Things conversation, because all of these devices, which come mostly from outside the boundaries of the campus, will connect in over the internet or through cloud-based platforms back into the academic institution, providing the learning and the learning content.
On that note, it's time for us to take a break. On the other side, we travel to Pilani in Rajasthan to see how BITS Pilani is adopting digitization across its 4 campuses. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Digitizing India. This week, we're looking at how campuses are digitizing. After IIM Bangalore, we shift focus to another premier Indian university, BITS Pilani. Established in 1964, BITS Pilani now has 4 campuses at Pilani, Hyderabad, Goa and Dubai. Employing 700 full-time faculty and with 11,000 on-campus and 19,000 off-campus students, BITS Pilani is using technology to connect their campuses for pedagogic and administrative reasons.
So what we wanted to look into was to examine technologies which could allow eye-to-eye kind of contact, so that people could feel, irrespective of where they are currently present, as if they are present in a single large discussion room, and that was only possible through some kind of immersive environment which telepresence and equivalent or comparable technologies do present. So that was one of our motivations, to be able to bring people virtually without compromising on the quality of experience in collaborative meetings. What we have done, we have equipped each one of our 4 campuses with one telepresence capability based classroom solution, with network based recording capability, and with ability to interact on per student level, such that a teacher could teach from any campus, or more than one teachers could teach from across campuses, and students across campuses could ask, see, interact between themselves or with the teachers. Classroom solutions are extremely effective if you want to conduct a multi-campus seminar, or if you want someone from around the world deliver a lecture to people using a high quality experience in your given campus or campuses, which is what we do. Many times there have been instances when people from across the best institutions in the world, including some of our own alumni, have delivered lectures to students across all campuses, and sometimes there have been multi-campus seminars which actually we conducted and benefited from.
Adopting these technologies has helped BITS Pilani cut down costs incurred by staff travelling to meetings. They've also improved productivity and helped students make the best of the resources present at any of their 4 campuses.
It helped us to cut down our travel bills in a very significant way. I would say, in that sense, I can say possibly in 2 years' time, we have actually got back of about 50% of our investment that we made into the technology solution, right? So return of investment wise, though it will not be only measurable in monetary terms alone, if the total effectiveness and if you see the time of the day these facilities are in use, specifically the telepresence meeting rooms, they are extremely heavily used. We have an online booking system so that people can actually find out that when the slots are available to be used over there, and they are so heavily used that it gives a good feeling that yes, we did invest into a solution which allows people without losing their effective time and money to get involved more significantly and more frequently amongst themselves.
BITS Pilani has always been proactive in adopting new technologies across their campuses, be it gigabit internet, IP telephony, video conferencing or wireless access on campus. Going ahead, they continue to leverage their technology infrastructure to bring state-of-the-art knowledge from industry and academia into the campus.
We have also connected, like many other institutions in the country, to National Knowledge Network, and we have created our own open edX derived and further customized platform for offering MOOC courses. At this point in time, it is an experimental platform which is currently resident and providing service over the private cloud that BITS Pilani students and faculty have developed themselves in-house. And at this point in time, we are also partnering with edX, and there is a BITS X stream, BITS X stream available, but that is available currently only to our on-campus students for 2 courses which have been already developed and floated twice across all the campuses. We are having plans to add more courses which could be offered through MOOC, but initially internally tested primarily for our purposes, and if required, some of them would be selectively made available to either via edX or our own internal MOOC platform that we call AnyLearn to the rest of the world.
BITS can actually run MOOC courses. They can blend education models, they can blend MOOC as well as in-classroom learning. Digitizing their content and making it available across a plethora of devices makes it possible for students to access that content and their courses without the boundaries of their campuses in India or outside India. And once you digitize the content and you make it available on any device that the student is accessing it on, your ability to personalize the content and personalize the learning experience and the assessment experience for that student also improves. And that's what education finally is about. It's about appealing to you and making you a better informed person than you were before you came to that class or that course or that campus. So that's the end state possibilities, and at every step of the way, technology can actually play a key role in enabling this entire process of education.
It's time for another break. BITS Pilani, of course, is one of the 1,500 institutions across the country that's connected to the National Knowledge Network. So after the break, we meet Professor S.B. Raghavan, who tells us how the National Knowledge Network is at the core of digital India. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Digitizing India series. On this episode, we're looking at how campuses are digitizing, and the National Knowledge Network is playing a key role in this implementation. Approved by the Union Cabinet in 2010 under the UPA, the NKN is aiming to connect 1,500 educational institutions via an ultra-high-speed network, thereby making it a critical information infrastructure for India to evolve as a knowledge society.
1,437 institutions were connected as of 10 days ago. We are well on the path of completing 1,500 very early. For each institution, the bandwidth that is coming into the institution and going out of the institution is 1 gigabit per second each direction. And this comes on a fiber. The fiber lands inside every campus, and we help them mate it with the local area network which is inside the campus and which is spread out across the campus. The idea is that if there are about 100-150 classes that are going on simultaneously, they should be able to share it with others or receive lessons from others into those classrooms. That's the main idea. It incidentally helps them, because of this video nature of the entire communication, to do all other things like research cooperation other than just classroom education. So NKN is basically a research and education network and it enhances and enables basically the collaborative nature of the science research that is unfolding right now across the globe. In fact, they are forming what are called the collaborative sets also. For example, there is a grid called a brain grid. Those who deal with brain research, they are part of the brain grid. There is something called cancer grid. Those who are part of the cancer research, they are part of the cancer grid. Surprisingly, these include institutions, not just the education institutions, they are also medical colleges, they are also national laboratories who bring in the requisite expertise.
The National Knowledge Network will enable scientists, researchers and students from across the country to work together to advance human development in critical and emerging areas. It will allow sharing of information which will boost research and development in these institutions.
So if you look across India, there are several types of institutions. So if you put all these numbers together, they come to something like 50,000-60,000. And if you take an average of 1,000 students per institution, you are talking about a fairly large number of people benefiting. So typically what would they expect? They expect search services as they normally do on internet, they expect it. These are specialized now for Indian information. Let us say 10 institutions produce a lesson on physics. All the students have access to these 10 lessons, 10 variations. So you have multiplicity of information availability where teachers can deposit their lessons and then make use of it in the large. Students have by and large benefited by that. In fact, IITs, the traditional ones, used it very effectively, are using it now also very effectively for mentoring the new ones, where faculty is yet to be recruited or very short in number. They can share classes also. So you can be mobile even if you are attached to a particular institution. You can teach that particular class, particular time from anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world for that matter.
The Digital India initiative of the government is built on the infrastructure that's being laid by the National Knowledge Network. But implementing a project of such a large scale is fraught with hurdles. How did the NKN team overcome these challenges?
NKN is actually in the core of the Digital India program. In fact, the entire Digital India program rides on NKN. E-governance of this country rides on NKN. NICRET rides on NKN. All the known government networks of yesteryears, they run on NKN. So the entire thing is revolving around this. And NKN stretches out up to districts. And the NOFN, which reaches panchayats, they go further from there. They expect to use facilities such as NKN to cross over and reach other parts of the country. So one can very soon expect a panchayat in one part of the country to reach the panchayat in the diagonally opposite part of the country with ease, with less than maybe 20 millisecond delay, and have a conversation between two sarpanchas on either side. I won't be surprised if that happens. Not just in 2D but in 3D holographic form. See, as a chief architect, the first problem that you face is to explain to people why it is required. And after having won over that, the second problem that you face is, where do you find such a large institutional framework which will help you reach out all over India simultaneously at one shot? We were lucky on both counts. There are very good people who are listening to us and then felt that it is worth doing. Second one is National Informatics Service, which rolls out this entire network. They are present all over the country up to the district level. So they came in handy and they were very happy to do it, and they have done an excellent job of rolling out NKN. So when I see it from the design perspective and rollout perspective, I think India had the capability. It just had to be, it was latent and it has to be woken up a little bit, that's it. And then it was all there. And the whole thing took only about 10 to 12 months to roll out in a significant form, and thereafter the expansion was fairly seamless and fast. It's amazing it happened only in this country. I don't think the rest of the world are able to do it in this short time and this scale, and today we are one of the largest in the world.
Consortia is an idea whose time has come in education. So a particular technology may be difficult for a university to absorb financially, but they have a better chance of getting sustainable tech solutions in a consortium model with multiple universities joining hands and trying to implement a common tech solution which impacts and benefits all of them. And of course, the most basic of all is there's a lot of duplication in content and creation and courseware, which education institutions can benefit from by sharing assets. And in the future, as more and more education assets gets digitized, it is all the more imminent that they should actually share and collaborate in terms of the content that they will be digitizing and that each of them hold.
McKinsey estimates that India could have about 24 million more high school and college educated workers and 18 to 33 million more vocationally trained workers by 2025 because of the use of digital technologies in the education sector. Well, with that, it's time for us to wrap up this week's episode. Next week on the show, we'll take a look at how startups in India are digitizing when we meet Tarun Mishra of Coesis Technologies that's using big data analytics to improve the productivity of manufacturing plants. While Balaji Kanigichirya of Ineda Systems talks to us about the processors that they've developed specifically for wearables. And finally, Bipinpreet Singh of MobiQuick tells us why we no longer need to carry cash in our pockets since our wallet is moving onto our mobile. Also, Cisco's Pankaj Lula tells us why the next big thing on the global IT stage could come from India. So until next week, from the entire team, goodbye and many thanks for watching.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.